guys, so today we're gonna talk about PIXIE for Kibbe body types. If you're new to my channel, I have a huge Kibbe playlist. I'm gonna leave the link down below. Before you watch this video, I recommend you to watch my previous one about PIXIE hairstyle. I'm talking more about face shape, how it matches to your outfits and things like that. And today we're only gonna talk about body types. So PIXIE on dramatic can look nice if it's not too rounded in outline like Marilyn Monroe style, for example, and not that very tousled 90s or 2000s wispy grown pixie with transparent ends. If it's quite dense and there's a lot of hair and you prefer that kind of stylish tomboyish style with standing straight hair, I think it would look amazing. Again, it depends on clothes that you prefer to wear. Things that are more structured in shape and more elongated and narrow and more minimalistic will look amazing with your pixie in this case. If you are the one who prefers more relaxed and glamorous things, more feminine things, then for you probably pixie would be a little bit too short. You just can go for something a bit longer but still geometric. Geometry, sharp pieces look better on you, and also is better for you when the pixie is overall color not highlighted, and the color should be quite distinctive. It should be certain, not like
mushroomy, but like between mushroomy and maybe like a little bit hair.
Unless you have this very certain coloration. For example, you're very pale, you have light features, you have cool coloration, then in this case for you maybe that hair color would look good. But even here I would still try to go for platinum, maybe see how it goes. Or some women have gray hair that also looks quite amazing, especially if the gray hair is very white. There are women like Tilda Swinton. She's dramatic body type. She loves short hair. I mostly see her with pixie and she looks stunning with that, and she has different kinds of pixies as well. But dramatics are actually so different. It's just they have this drama in common and that angularity in common. With this angularity, pixies normally can look nice. And also there are dramatics that just don't like pixies, like Olivia Culpo. She normally goes for bob or longer hair. She just likes it more, but it's still quite geometric. It's quite sleek, minimalistic looking and quite elongating, so that looks amazing on dramatics too. It's not that you should avoid something, it's just more how it's going to be combined with what you wear and the rules for the outline. Normally pixie with afro hair looks quite clean. Maybe it's not super geometric looking, maybe that looks a bit more geometric. And there in his book there is example of dramatic woman with very curly hair. So what he did, he cut that straight on the bottom. She had that short bob with geometric sharp blunt cut on the sides. That created that geometric shape. So if she had rounded outline, that would soften her. But just in general, in my viewpoint, if your hair is wavy or curly, don't shear your ends. Just keep them blunt and thick. That will give you that geometry, that weight that you probably need, and it will support your angularity and be very much in balance with your body. Bangs across your forehead sometimes can look stunning. David Kibbe actually is doing these short bangs for many of dramatic clients because it's also slightly Art Deco, and Art Deco normally looks good on dramatics. This is their vibe. And bangs are normally good on dramatics. Bangs can be straight, wavy or curly. On soft dramatics, this short straight pixie can look absolutely alien. There are some pictures of soft dramatics wearing that hairstyle. It actually fits their faces quite well. So if we have just this picture of them that looks quite nice, but we always perceive head to toe, then if you're having this pixie, you have to match that in your clothes a little bit. And if you match that in clothes, then your body can look just totally different. I've seen some soft dramatics having pixies, but I could see how masterfully they blend it into their overall look, into their body and into their outfits. But it's a certain vision. You have to know your body structure and how your body looks in this and that clothes. Most of soft dramatics that I know though, they prefer to grow it a bit longer. Grown pixie, the one that can create some volume for you, especially if you can curl it a little bit if your hair is super straight. Or if it's straight, that's fine. You still can have some kind of a volume on that. And then the voluptuousness will play same game with your body and nothing will be sticking out. Even Morena Baccarin, when she was wearing that very short pixie, then she had those stripy short dresses to match that kind of a thing, became even more voluptuous, even more elongated as a contrast with these short lines. As soon as she grew her pixie cut a little bit longer and then she made those waves or curls, that softened her whole look, softened her face, that gave her certain volume, more hair. She as a prominent woman had this prominent hair and it started speaking together. Make it not too geometric. Close your ears with hair. Also that helps to soften everything. fullness on top always looks good on you. So if you have afro or super curly hair, again, a bit longer would be better. If it's too short and it's too close to your scalp, it starts looking a little bit too dry for you. Now let's go to romantics family. Romantic, theatrical, romantic. So rounded outline is essential for them. Not tousled, nothing too wispy, and nothing too short, extremely boyish. It's just too dry for them because their voluptuousness will speak louder. It's not bad, it's just it might not fit. If you feel like you don't have enough balance, grow your pixie a little bit longer and style it in a bit softer manner. You can style even straight pixies, just should probably not be extremely stiff looking and too geometric. Actually, I know some theatrical romantics who love going for pixie. Normally these are quite small ladies with very delicate bone structure, and they go for slim and very sharp blazers. They go for sharp pumps, they go for whether pencil skirts or narrow pants, sometimes shortened. Some of them shave their back and have a little bit of temples here, slightly longer up to here, and then they have this elongated side swept bangs. If you like that style, really, that might look good on you. If you have this side swept bangs, it's gonna soften your face, it's gonna create some volume here, some roundness, some asymmetry that can add some drama to you. But still, normally most of theatrical romantics, they prefer more rounded hair, and if they have straight hair, they prefer to grow them a bit longer and start with a bob or longer. Classics. All classics can lose their elegance if they go for too geometric, too dry, too short, too wispy pixie cut. They look better with more symmetrical, more structured hair. Not too tousled as well. It will be very noisy for them, very untidy, especially grown pixie. They still look a bit better when everything is put together, styled hair and curled slightly inwards. Not a big curl though, they don't need huge volume on their hair, just a little bit is fine. I found one picture of Grace Kelly. You can still see it's styled almost like a classic man. Behind the ears, not ladylike, but still quite elegant and classy. But there's always exceptions. I'm telling in general. Texture, facial features, colors, contrast, everything matters. And again, sometimes it can fit to a face of a classic, but then when you check the rest of the body, it just doesn't go well. You just feel like you need something longer, and classics look amazing normally with bob, with blunt bob actually. This is the style that doesn't look cheap with blunt bobs. It actually gives them elegance. If we be more specific about soft classics and dramatic classics, soft classics look better with covered ears or with slightly longer bangs here, with some wave also would be nice. Nothing sticking out, nothing too straight geometric, nothing to cut the eye. Everything has to be slightly modest, tidy, and a little bit rounded because they have a little bit of curve. Balanced hair also would look nice. When it's too asymmetrical, too short here, too long here, that's not gonna look good for sure, especially for soft classics. They have grown pixie, again, it's better when it's not sticking out, but it's quite rounded and tidy looking. On dramatic classics, I noticed, maybe it's just me, on all of the dramatic classics that I've seen, it doesn't look elegant enough if their pixie is quite short and very boyish. If it's slightly elongated, if she has hair, she can even style it upwards like this. That's an interesting example. Kibbe is doing consultations in New York right now. He sometimes is uploading some of his clients' pictures on his Facebook page. And this woman he typed as a dramatic classic. So from the beginning, she already had slightly short hair. You can't do much if the person already has short hair. They just styled it upwards, opened her face. I can't say it's too geometric looking, it's quite rounded looking, but it's quite bold at the same time. And I think it looks beautiful because I think that for dramatic classics it's more important to style it. If it's untidy looking, it's just the worst thing for them normally. Even if their haircut is not good, if they just style it, it already can make them look beautiful altogether. And here's his another client, dramatic classic. She also had short hair in the beginning. They just made it shorter, sharper, and more sculpted. So basically, for dramatic classics, best hair is sculpted and tidy, as opposed to tousled and wispy. They still have some angularity and some meat in their body. They're not tiny, they're not very delicate looking, so for them, a bit more hair would look good. We have naturals, flamboyant naturals, soft naturals. Kibbe doesn't use pure types anymore, like classic natural and Gamin. So I'm talking about naturals in general. If it's too short and boyish, it can accentuate the squarishness, the angularity, and the prominence of their bones. If they want to go for that, that's fine. fine. You know, there are some naturals, they like to go for that boyish hairstyle. Cara Delevingne, she likes that type of a style, but she has quite smallish facial features and her face is quite tight. She has small chin, so for faces like hers, normally pixie cut fit her, especially that she goes for that type of a style. She's quite bony herself, so I think on her that looks kind of cool. Even if she goes for something unconstructed on the bottom, that kind of constructed and short pixie looks more or less fine. But you always should see, because each body is very, very different. Each body has different configuration and different facial features. So in my opinion, very short, clean and very dry hairstyle is not for flamboyant naturals. I think flamboyant naturals would look better if they have closed ears slightly, side swept bangs, more hair, volume and texture. Basically, if you go for that, if you grow your pixie a little bit, you're good. A good example is Charlize Theron. Her facial features are quite delicate. So if you look at her as a face, she looks amazing with this dry and very short pixie cut. But then when you see her body, it's kind of not matching, especially when she's wearing something very tiny and sleek. Small lines, short lines, short lines. Delicate, delicate. And as a contrast, her body just looks very, very large, especially her top part. And as soon as she grows it a little bit, just give it some texture, some movement, she immediately looks more relaxed and we can marry head and body. And similar situation is happening with Jennifer Lawrence or Anne Hathaway, for example. The shorter the pixie is, the more large or elongated or wide their bone structure appears. Soft naturals can feel wide and muscular sometimes with that very short pixie. They can feel like they start being meaty and too muscular, and musculature of their face is shining through, and some of them, they just don't like it. They feel like they look too prominent with that in their face or in their body or both. Also depends on chin area. If it's a little bit heavy here, then for sure they would need a bit more hair. If it's quite tight here, some of them, they might want to go for something shorter, but still it doesn't match to their vibe, to their body type. Just in general, people like Katy Perry, Scarlett Johansson, those are two soft naturals. They normally like to go for this kind of short pixie cuts. And again, you know, in some pictures it fits to their faces if we frame it like that. But then when we see the overall body, the way they move, the way they talk, we can slightly see that it's not matching. It does disbalance the picture. So in this case, if you still have short hair, just grow it a little bit longer, have these bangs at the front, have this curtain bangs would look amazing on you, elongated bangs or side swept bangs, some asymmetry, have something here by your face, it will already soften it very well. Gamines. This is normally their territory. Kibbe recommends short lines for gamines because this is the tiniest type normally. They look smallish, so majority of gamines look good with short hair. It doesn't mean that if you look good with short hair, you're a gamine automatically. You can be any other type. First of all, longer lines drag them down normally. Every time they go for shorter hairstyles, open their neck, open their head, open their face, that looks more youthful, more in their nature. So it always lightens them up and they don't have this stocky appearance anymore, especially soft gamines. Soft gamines look a bit better with elongated front, at least. I would say they look better with bob still, or elongated pixie covering the ears and slightly wavy, or if it's not wavy, then slightly feathered by the face, just to give that lightness to them. They don't look very good with something very blunt and too heavy, but still, I don't mean super sheer ends. I would not recommend it to anyone. If soft gamine is going for something extremely short like gamines would go for, we first see their curve, their flesh, they feel slightly bold, they feel it's too revealing for them, they feel like they need some fluff here. If we talk about flamboyant gamines, this is a different situation, but I'm not saying that each flamboyant gamine looks good with short pixie. I don't think so, but definitely many of them. Recently, David Kibbe had these two clients, beautiful flamboyant gamines. This girl already had some short hair, so he made it even shorter. He trimmed it so it would look a bit more geometric. Still opened face. She looks stunning here and here. For this girl, she has this long hair. He cut it shorter just to make it more boyish and tousled. From my viewpoint, especially in the modern world, with modern things that look flattering, that are pleasing to our eyes, because it's different. The book was written in the 80s, and now we have different vision of the fashion and style. Definitely have that modern style now. So I think that in the modern world, some flamboyant gamines, they do look good with longer hair. It just depends on what kind of long hair. Do they have bangs or do they not have bangs? For example, Zooey Deschanel, she is flamboyant gamine. I think she looks stunning with that bangs and with that long hair, and sometimes she does that updo, and then she makes her bangs slightly curtain bangs. She has that slightly girlish style as well. Not tomboyish, I would say girlish. I don't think that she would look great with that pixie. What I can tell for sure is that all flamboyant gamines would look amazing with bob. Slightly asymmetrical A-line bob with a little bit longer on one side, having that side swept bangs. I'm sure that every flamboyant gamine would look good with that. If they have straight hair, curly hair, wavy hair, or afro even. If they have afro, they can look great with shorter hair, short pixie, bigger, and I would say big afro would look great on them too, because David Kibbe also recommended that lion's mane. Remember? A la Tina Turner's wig. This is the quote from the book. So everything that is flamboyant, just like the name of this type, would fit to them. But there are definitely some flamboyant gamines that have very thin and straight hair. So for them, good thing would be asymmetry and then pixie or slightly longer bob. And if we talk about Jean Seberg, she used to be a pure gamine before. Now I don't know where David would put her. I think maybe too soft gamine. But still, if you check this outfit, I think whether this hair is too short for that kind of a dress or the dress is too voluptuous for this kind of a hair. If here she had whether narrower dress or longer hair, it would just match a bit more from my viewpoint. I don't know what you think, guys. Let me know in the comments. Alright, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.